All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Destiny podcast. Tonight, I'm excited to have a old friend that I've known for many years but haven't seen in a while to join me tonight, and we're going to talk about something that's very special to my heart. First of all, I want to welcome to the platform for the first time Mr. Gerald Wright. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Gerald, this is what I want to talk about tonight. Most people that know me know that I'm like the definition of a daddy's girl.
Mm.
Um, I always have been, and even though he's gone, I still remain a daddy's girl. And so, this particular relationship is extremely important to me. And so, this month, I decided I wanted to have some conversations about with fathers and the bonds that they have with their daughters. And so that's what we want to talk about tonight. First of all, what is your daughter's first name?
Monye,
Manye. And how old is she?
29.
29. All right. So talk to us when I mentioned to you about the father daughter bond, what personally came to your mind? What do you feel is important about the father daughter bond?
Is to be present, number one. And I've been present in her life since day one. Uh, I raised her while her mother had moved in order to get established. And then she went to live with her mother. And then her mother had to make another move. So she comes back with me and she's been with me.
Wow, that's powerful. And I wanna just drop this right here because um, my sister Kelly and I have had this conversation down through the years. We were almost adults when we realized that not all of our friends had relationship with their father.
Uh-huh.
Like I guess we just kind of took it for granted because daddy was there. Daddy didn't just come on, once a month and drop off something. Daddy was there every day, all day. So we just that's just how we grew up. And so that bond is like so special to us. And I want to ask you to share with us I'm sure you have many of these, but what is one memorable moment or experience that highlights the father daughter relationship for you?
Oh, wow. Uh,
I know it's a lot.
it's a lot, but I am mm, I don't want to put this one out here, but uh a protector. A protector uh goes along with providing, because when you provide, you're also protecting,
Yes.
just in a different form. But I mean, I can remember when she broke her leg and I wasn't there, and she was about 10, and everyone that was there, I went off on, because as far as I'm concerned, they were not watching my child. I wasn't there. I might have been at work or somewhere, and then I got the phone call. So I pretty much, laid into everybody. So they should have been watching her. Another time, she was being verbally abused by a boyfriend. I didn't know until one day she yelled out my name. And when I came down, the guy jetted out the front door, and my old behind went running after him.
As you should, as you should.
Yes, yes, I went running after him. But her graduation, when she graduated high school, we all went out to dinner, and she had a boyfriend. So I went ahead and told him the laws, rules, regulations, requirements, or else. So,
Exactly.
so you have to be more than just there. Any father can be there, but are you of value to her growth?
Yes, absolutely.
That is
Absolutely.
uh, that
I
is the
love that.
that is the dominant thing. I know a lot of uh, fathers who think that just getting them what they want is good enough. Just getting them, just shelling out money is
Yeah,
good enough. No, but the presence of you is valuable because they remember that forever.
absolutely. Absolutely.
They remember.
And they remember, and because it's like just because you're a presence, a physical presence in the house, like you said, that's not enough. Like she needs to feel that you protect her, that you'll take care of her if she's feeling afraid or upset or anything. I'm gonna share this story with you. Kind of funny at this age, but it wasn't funny back then. I remember in the first grade, and they had field day,
Oh yeah,
and
I love
and
field day.
and my father was the only family member that was there at the field day. And I was just determined I was going to win everything because my daddy is watching me. It was so important to me to make him proud. Gerald, let me tell you, I was in this race and I was balled up, balled up. And I glanced over and looked at my dad and tripped and fell.
Oh,
Oh my God, I could have just died. But I ended up, I think I came in second place or something. And I remember like the lady was giving me this stupid ribbon that I didn't want. And I took the ribbon and I ran over to my dad and I was just crying like somebody had shot me. I was just crying.
oh,
And he was hugging me and telling me it was okay. And just being in his arms made everything better.
yes.
And as an adult now with grandchildren, I can understand that some people might say, well, that was not a big deal. But the big deal to me was that even when I felt like I had disappointed him, he didn't make me feel bad. He just took me in his arms and told me everything was going to be okay. And to me, that's the epitome of the father daughter relationship. Like you said,
Mm.
whenever anything goes wrong, they have to know that they can come to daddy.
What might not be a big deal to them is a
Yeah,
big deal to you. Everybody's born different.
yeah.
He could have easily changed the whole show. I can't believe you fell. I'm sitting there, I watched you fell. But instead, he gave encouragement and
Yeah,
uh, 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 let you know, wipe it off your shoulder,
that's
get up,
right. That's
die.
right.
You
That's
know,
right.
so it could have went a lot of different ways.
Could have went a whole different way.
That's why, as an adult, you have to think before you do anything. I know I do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you feel like fathers and daughters communicate differently? Like, do you feel like you have to talk with your daughter differently than you might talk with a son? And what are some ways that you communicate with your daughter that you would not communicate with a male, you don't think?
Well, uh, with my daughter, she knows me. She knows my mentality. So it's a lot of things that I know that she's probably holding back because of maybe my reaction.
Yeah, yeah,
If I think that she's being done wrong, but in other situations, she's
yeah,
very open, and can talk to me about anything.
yeah.
But she picks and chooses what to say to me. I know that.
Right, right. That's right.
And she has a good reason, but I am also going to listen and respect my daughter.
Good,
She
good.
would tell me anything and then say, Dad, don't overreact. Don't get mad. Don't get all crazy and hype.
Yeah,
And that's just what I'm going to do. I'm not going to get all crazy and hype.
awesome. I love that. What are some common challenges that you think fathers and daughters face? And what do you think are appropriate ways to respond when you disagree with your daughter?
Okay. Well, anytime they want to start a relationship with another fella, then the dad should want to know who this guy is,
Yeah,
and even if the dude feels intimidated by this, you got to blow that off, because you want to
yeah,
know who is this man that my daughter has feelings for, and I want to make sure he knows that the consequences and repercussions of hurting her.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. All relationships ain't gonna last.
Right, right.
Things happen, but
Yeah,
just know to treat her right, do the right thing, and try to make her happy.
yeah. All right, so let me ask you, Daddy. Now let's be real about it, right? Do you really think there is any man out there that is worthy of your daughter, that is going to be the perfect mate for your daughter? Because this is how I look at it, right? Every My dad was so good to me, and we had disagreements. There was plenty of times when I thought, man, he don't know what he's talking about. And especially, my family. We were raised up in the church, couldn't do
Mm,
nothing. If it wasn't church related, you couldn't do it. You could barely breathe unless you were going to church. And then you start getting older, you see other kids doing things, and then you're like, Daddy, can I go? Such and such a thing. He's like, no, we have church that night. So of course you got attitudes, right? But you respect the fact that he's your daddy and you're not going to always see eye to eye. And even as an adult, there were plenty of times I had to walk away because I disagreed with what my father was saying. But I respected him so much that I was not going to say anything disrespectful to him. Have there been times in your relationship with your daughter where you all didn't see eye to eye and you had to walk away from it and come back and deal with it later?
uh, yeah, yeah. Uh, the person who was pretty much abusing her, she stayed in contact with him, but it is the father of her child,
Mhm.
and that's the way I looked at it. Well, that's
Yeah.
how she had to stay in contact with him, but I get very protective. Here's another story. Here's another story. I just pulled up at home and I seen my daughter walking in our townhouse complex, walking somewhere. Just 3 days after I just ran after this fella. And I said, where is she going? So I got out the car and I looked. I said, I don't know where she's going, but I'm going to follow her. And I followed her. And what did I see? She had met up with him. And as soon as he seen me, he broke out. I said, man, don't run. Good God, man. He never got close enough to me. And I just wanted to talk to him. I wasn't mad anymore. I don't stay mad long, only for a few minutes. But
Yeah,
the relationship between a father and a daughter, when it comes to uh, them being in relationships with other men, is the father has to sit back and let develop what is going to develop.
yeah,
You can't put your hand in anything. You cannot say, well, no, no,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. wait for her to either accomplish this relationship or destroy the relationship. Okay, that's how people grow. That's how people learn. You learn from your
Yeah,
mistakes. If you never make a
absolutely.
mistake in life, you're probably the stupidest person on earth.
That's right. That's right. And here's another thing. What I learned is, as a father, you have poured something into her that she may never even be able to verbalize that is in there. But you use that as a daughter, you use that measuring stick with every man um, that comes into your life, whether you admit it or not.
Hmm.
You like, my dad would have never said that, or my dad would have never did that. My dad would never disrespect me like that. And sometimes you put up with things, but at the end of the day, it's inside of you. You know, as a daughter, how your father treated you, and you know what you deserve. Because that's another thing is
Yeah.
why it's so important for you guys to show these girls from the gate how they deserve to be treated, and then they won't be so quick to just anybody that shows them some attention, they go chasing down behind him because they can say, you know what, my dad always tells me I'm pretty, my dad always tells me I'm smart, my dad always tells me I can achieve anything in life. I don't need another man to do that for me. And
Mm.
that, to me, that is why you guys are so important in our lives.
It is called respect. Adults
Yeah.
want respect, but if you don't show respect, who's going to respect you? Okay, and until this day, me, I get angry. I get a little hyped up, but still, till this day, and my daughter's 29, and it's respect for her. I don't,
Yes.
I don't cuss around my daughter. And if I could be with anybody else, my fellas, friends, family, and I'm just a cussing like a sailor. But when my daughter comes around, it
Yeah.
stops.
Yeah.
It
I
stops.
love that.
That cannot She cannot expect that from a man.
Yeah.
To be cussing at her all the time. No, I don't do that. I don't think my daughter has ever heard me cuss. So that's the biggest part. You got
Yeah.
to respect your daughter, so she'll
Yeah.
know what to expect from a man.
Yeah. That's right. You lay that foundation from early on. And that's one of the things I remember about my dad. My dad retired from the military to take care of me because I was born very ill. And so, pretty much all my life, I knew that no matter what happened, if I don't know how upset I got with him, how many miles I moved away from him, I knew my dad was my safe place. If there
Mm.
was any trauma, any struggle in my life, I knew I could come back to my dad. And that's what I wanted to talk with you tonight about, because I want, from a male standpoint, for you to explain to the audience and those that will be listening later, the fathers, how important it is for you to be. It's important for you to be in all of your children's lives. But this month,
Yeah,
we're talking about the father daughter relationship, because I'm just seeing too many of our young women, young girls, our daughters that are just accepting any and every kind of behavior. And a lot of times when you follow them, you study them, they didn't have that father figure and that foundation in their life. And so I wanted to talk about that this month because it's critical that we understand, and even I'm going to ask you this: there is a difference in fathering a little girl, a teenager, and a grown woman. How has your relationship evolved with your daughter from when you had her as a baby and to where you are now? How would you say it has evolved?
it has evolved from disciplining her to let her make her mistakes and she'll learn.
I love it.
As a kid, that's your job. Discipline them. nurture them, send them in the right direction. When they get adults, if they don't use what you've instilled in them, eventually they will.
Yeah,
Eventually they will, because they say, you know what, my dad always told me blah blah this
that's
that,
right.
and now,
That's right.
well, I guess I won't do that again. But
Absolutely.
as a kid, you see them do wrong. Hey, no, we're not doing that. We're not going this. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. Not gonna
Yeah,
happen. As an adult, uh, how did that turn out for you?
yeah,
Well, say no more. Did you learn?
yeah.
Point blank, period. So that's the difference. You can't discipline a grown woman. And if
That's
a
right.
man is disciplining a grown woman, you're abusing her. That's abuse.
I agree.
Abuse does not have to be I'm cussing her every day. I'm putting
Yeah,
hands every day. Abuse can be mentally.
that's right. That's right.
If this woman has to think about how is he going to react to this action that I'm about to do.
Hmm.
Even if it's just buying shrimp instead of steak. It could be, I wanted steak. Bought the shrimp. I wanted steak.
Yeah,
She shouldn't have to think about stuff like that. You have to let them make their own mistakes. You got to let them breathe. You got to let them live.
that's right. That's right. I love it. I love it. And I was thinking about how many times I left home when I became an adult because I've never really ever wanted to live in Salisbury. And I think it's because because of my family, um, the church and all that. I just couldn't wait to graduate and get away from here. Um, but I left here and come back so many times I can't even tell you how many times. But no matter where I lived, when things got hard, I knew if I called my daddy, he may fuss at me. Didn't I tell you, James Cena? Didn't I tell you this XYZ? What do you need to get back home?
and
You
and
can always come home. Yeah.
and that's the daggone, and that's the thing. He said, "What did I tell you? What
Yeah.
did I tell you?" You,
Yeah.
hey, it's a thin line.
Yeah.
It's a thin line between uh 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 raising uh son between a daughter. It's a
Yeah.
very, very thin line. Okay. Because the son, you're going to treat totally different. You're going to treat totally different. But it's the same values that you are instilling in that son that you instill in your daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even the way you treat your son is going to reflect to your daughter how a man should treat you.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that thin line can hop from side to side.
Absolutely. I love it.
So
You're absolutely correct.
you definitely gotta let that child know, let that girl know from a young age how a man should treat her.
Absolutely. So, Gerald, tell us, we got a few more minutes here. Tell us one main characteristic. I know it may be hard to pick one of the main characteristics that you love about your daughter.
She's funny. She's funny. She's just like me. And the thing about it, I know I'm funny. Yeah, I do. That's all I know I'm funny. But she's funny and don't even know it. She's funny and don't even know it. She is and she's so quiet and reserved.
And we know she didn't get that from you.
No, she didn't get that from me. I don't know where she got that from. She didn't get it from her mom because her mom is a live wire. Yes.
That is hilarious.
Oh my, a ticking time bomb. But
He's so
it's
silly.
back, cool and reserved, and will sit
Yeah,
there and nonchalantly make a joke, and she won't even laugh, and everybody else done took it. Oh my God! Did you hear what she just said? Mm.
yeah, yeah.
So that's one trait that I do like about her.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm gonna tell you, Gerald. I've learned a lot about you tonight, and I've learned a lot about. My father died in 2010,
Mm,
and our bond was such that I remember saying in my teen years that if my daddy dies, I think I'm going to die. That's just how much I relied on him. And at the time, I didn't really understand the power of the words that I was saying. I just knew that I could not imagine a world without my dad. Um, and it's been a challenge adjusting. But what I've learned to do is take so many of the things that he taught me and so
mm.
many of the things that he poured into me to make me into the woman that I am today. And
And
I'm sure your daughter is doing the same thing with you.
and when you do that, it's just like he's still here.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like he's still here.
Absolutely.
No doubt about that. It's just like he is still here, whispering in your ear.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You,
There's sometimes I have to make decisions and I think, I wonder what daddy would say. And I promise you, I raise my hand to God, I can hear his voice speaking something that he said to me in a similar situation. Or I'll dream about him and I'll get some direction through the dream. Let me tell you this, and then I'm going to let you go in a minute. The other day, well, it's been more than the other day, it was right after COVID came out.
mm,
Somebody contacted me and said that they had a cassette tape, and they thought it was my mom preaching on it, and they wanted me to have it. And it took a couple years for me to get the tape, and then it's taken another couple of years for me to even remember I had the tape. So I got someone, a friend loaned me a cassette tape player a couple of weeks ago, so I could listen to it to see if it really was my mom on there. And Gerald, when I tell you, I pushed play and heard my dad's voice,
mm-hmm.
I lost it.
Ah,
Like I've not heard his voice like that since 2010, and he was preaching, and just so many different emotions uh, stirred up inside of me. But I tell you, the main thing that I felt then, I feel today, and I feel every day is that my daddy loved me. And I believe that your daughter can say the same thing about you because you have laid that foundation. And I am so proud as you shared your story tonight. It has really blessed me to hear how you've done that for her. And I want to encourage you, as long as you live, keep doing it. No matter how old she gets, she still needs her daddy.
of course, of course.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did you have anything you want to share, a word of advice, or anything for any other fathers that may watch this video, or daughters that may watch? Because realistically, someone said to me a couple years ago, I talked about my dad so much that she said to me, I don't know if you really know how blessed you are to have had that relationship because my father was not in my life at all. And I don't want to ever take that for granted that there are some women out there who have not had that relationship. But what is something that you can say to them from a male viewpoint that reminds them that even if their biological father is not in their lives, they can still have successful lives and they can still be happy?
okay, you have two ears and one mouth
Hmm.
for a reason. That means you should listen twice as much as you talk. So always listen to your child. Listen to them and let them. express their feelings, whether they're 4 years old or 40.
Yeah.
Listen to them. So many people, so many adults think this. I'm the adult. I'll make the rules. I'll make the regulations. But you got to show some respect to the kids so they'll respect you.
That's right.
So always, my advice to any parent would be always listen to them and let them speak. If the kid feels as though they can't come to you with a problem, it's because you are the problem.
Oh,
You
wow.
are the problem because they don't feel as though they can come to you. I'm not comfortable coming to my mom or my dad with this problem.
Right, right.
So always listen to your kids. Always listen to them.
I love that. And that's a perfect way to end this conversation. It is so, so, so important that, I work with um, children, even in the juvenile justice system. And some of the main things that we hear from children impacted by mass incarceration, whether personally or their family members, their parents, or whatever, is that they don't care. Their parents, they feel like their parents don't care. They don't listen to them. The only time they say anything to them is if they get in trouble, and then they're beating on them and screaming and yelling, but they're not listening to them when they're trying to tell them why they're getting in trouble. So what you said is a perfect way to end this conversation. We have to always let our children feel like they're heard, they're seen,
Yes,
and they're
yes,
valued.
yes, and comfortable coming to you with anything.
Absolutely. All right, Mr. Wright, it was a pleasure talking with you tonight. Thank you so much. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I was surprised when you agreed to do this.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. When that subject, this is my one and only child.
Yeah,
So yeah,
awesome. Well, I thank you so much. You have made my evening. I really appreciate it.
you're welcome. You're very
All
welcome.
right, all right. We'll talk again soon.
All right.
All right. Bye bye.
Have a blessed day.
You do the same.
All right.
All right. Bye.